Welcome to Story Time!
Welcome to Riverside Performing Arts Story Time. Today we are going to read one of my favourites, and it's called Guess How Much I Love You by Sam McBratney. Will we read it together? Okay. Little Nut Brown Hare, who was going to bed, held on tight to Big Nut Brown Hare's very long ears. He wanted to be sure that Big Nut Brown Hare was listening. Guess how much I love you, he said. Oh, I don't think I could guess that, said Big Nut Brown Hare. This much, said Little Nut Brown Hare, stretching out his arms as wide as they could go. Big Nut Brown Hare had even longer arms. But I love you this much, he said. That is a lot, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. I love you as high as I can reach, said Little Nut Brown Hare. I love you as high as I can reach, said Big Nut Brown Hare. That is quite high, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. I wish I had arms like that. Then Little Nut Brown Hare had a good idea. He tumbled upside down and reached up the tree trunk with his feet. I love you all the way up to my toes, he said. And I love you all the way up to your toes, said Big Nut Brown Hare, swinging him up over his head. I love you as high as I can hop, laughed Little Nut Brown Hare, bouncing up and down. But I love you as high as I can hop, smiled Big Nut Brown Hare, and he hopped so high that his ears touched the branches above. That's good hopping, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. I wish I could hop like that. I love you all the way down the lane as far as the river, cried Little Nut Brown Hare. I love you across the river and over the hills, said Big Nut Brown Hare. That's very far, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. He was almost too sleepy to think any more. Then he looked beyond the thorn bushes, out into the big dark night. Nothing could be further than the sky. I love you right up to the moon, he said, and closed his eyes. Oh, that's far, said Big Nut Brown Hare. That is very, very far. Big Nut Brown Hare settled Little Nut Brown Hare into his bed of leaves. He leaned over and kissed him good night. Then he lay down close by and whispered with a smile, I love you right up to the moon and back. The end. I hope you really enjoyed today's story. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Whoa! Up to the moon and back! Well, me and my teddy bear here, we loved that story. We really enjoyed all the different ways that Little Nut Brown Hare and Big Nut Brown Hare showed how much they loved each other. Why don't you watch the story again? And this time, when an action is mentioned, so it could be when they say that they love each other this much and they stretch out their arms, perhaps you could stretch out your arms as well. Or when it's across the river and over the hills, maybe you could do some swimming actions and then imagine that you are marching up some hills. There were lots of actions in that story to explore. Or why don't you get yourself a piece of string or wool and measure out your arm span, so how long your arms are from fingertip to fingertip, and then cut with maybe scissors that your parent or adult could help you with, and then see if this piece of string that's your arm span is the same length as your height. Now you might need to get a ruler to measure out in centimetres the different heights, and perhaps you could measure the different people in your household and make a chart to find out whose arm span is the same or closest to their height. And finally, a writing activity. Maybe you could write down all the different ways that you could show someone just how much you love them. Perhaps it might be doing a drawing or singing a song or making a cake. There's so many different ways. Why not take a photo of you doing any of the activities and post it so that we can see? I hope you've enjoyed today, and we will see you next week for another story time with Riverside Performing Arts.